What's going on, everybody? I recall one of the hardest, if not the hardest, fights in the game is, like I could actually pronounce this. It's like Zebenkek or something like that. But it's actually a series of demons. It's supposed to be one demon, but you actually get a whole bunch of demon bosses, basically, stacked up in this one room, and it's a real gauntlet to try to run. But in order to get to that, you have to find all of these tomes. And rather than read or use any of them, you have to destroy them until you get to the last one. And I believe we'll get a free attribute point or a skill point or both, something. You get a pretty good reward out of it, but the fight is just brutal. It's not one of those you just walk in, swing your sword once or twice, and say, I'm done. Man, it's pretty epic, if I remember. Anyway, it requires some unlocking, and basically, I'm going to have to go to, I think the Viscount's Keep. Seems like there's one in the Chantry, oddly enough. Anyway, they're these tomes, and they're passed down from Tehrone, who was the blood mage who had captured the Templar, who we saved back in Act 1. So anyway, these are some of her books. It's interesting where they're kept, too. If you note, like I said, one's found in the Keep, one's found in the Chantry. I think we have to go to Storm Coast, and there's one, out at the Bone Pit. And I don't know if there's some significance to where these things are. If there's, these are places of influence or something, where her and her agents have been intermeddling with people's affairs. May have something to do with things that eventually show up at the Bone Pit, although I can't see that having a real impact on the city as a whole. It seems to give the few Fereldans that are working there the blues, the spiders and dragons and everything else that are showing up, but I'm not sure how that really impacts the city. I mean, I don't see how that could benefit the mages trying to keep the tensions high in the Circle Tower. I'm not sure how that has an impact, but anyway. Each one of these will be a series of the kind of demons we will eventually find at the end of this. I guess if you were to basically put all of these together, all these little mobs that we have to run into with each tome, then that's essentially what the last fight is like all by itself, basically. Hopefully we'll be a little better prepared to deal with it when we get there. We're not too far off from really being a complete party here. Although I can say, as opposed to perhaps Origins or even Inquisition, is this one really, this build isn't really kind of finalized until the very end. This isn't one of those where by around level 10 or 15, I've got all the basics in place and then it's just window dressing after that. This, at least this particular build, how I do it, regardless of what I concentrate on first, like a lot of times I'll get all my, assassin stuff, in place and then go do some other stuff. And then kind of like this, I'm kind of putting a little here and there and everywhere and just kind of building it slowly, piece by piece. So I'm not particularly strong in any one area yet. But there, all the basics are kind of getting in place. But notice it's later. I mean, we're already level, I think 15, 16? And I still have 6 or 7 points to put in place before I'd say, yeah, this is pretty solid here.
Don't change the subject.
Haven't thought of a good one yet. What do you think of red?
Too common.
Well, when you think of one, let me know.
Aveline's getting insecure because she doesn't have a nickname from Varric also. Everyone's got a nickname but her. Well, and I guess myself, but Hawk is just, too cool to not, if you're named Hawk, you're just called Hawk, No need for a nickname there, I guess. Actually, I think the truth is Varric's scared to give Aveline a nickname in case she might not like it. Beat him up for it or something. Honestly, I think that's how that went. So he kind of turns it back on her and says, well, if you think of a good one, you just let me know. One that you won't beat me up for, but we'll just call you that. Varric has mad respect for Aveline. Most definitely. Or one of the dialogues, he even says, your habit of scaring the piss out of me continues.
It's too much.
There we go. Number 2. We'll search out a few more of these. I think we may even head to the back to the deep roads, to the Dwarven Ruins, to go help that the brothers who have erringly gone down there treasure hunting. I mean, what could go wrong? You know, we went with an entire expedition group and things went to crap. Apparently, these brothers just went by themselves. That's it. No hirelings, no guards, no nothing, no scouts. They just took rumors from what we found when we were there, I guess, and just ran with it. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to end real well for them.
A place of slavery and necessity. Kirkwall could not have existed without its mines.
Now, for some reason, the guy that owns this place is not spawned back at Hightown. Seems to me there's something I need to buy from him. I think he gets another tome, maybe, or something. But anyway, he needs to pop back up, and I do not remember what gets him to. We have all the miners here. I think he's gonna, you know, there's gonna be emergencies here, like every act, right? Bad stuff happening at the Bone Pit. I mean, why the hell would you name it the Bone Pit? But we're gonna have to return here a few times. I think I'm gonna try to talk to the workers here and see if that doesn't spur something to happen. I really don't remember at what point we come back here, but notice there's caves that are open and stuff that weren't before. In fact, one of the caves we're going to now is where we find one of those demony evil tomes. I recall we come here to help the workers again over some issue, and then we come back here again this act. I did try returning here. I think I did it off camera because I didn't find anything, but I recall coming back on your own to spur a particular little side quest thing and to keep the thing going. Seems like if you don't come back here in Act 2, then something there's something you can't do in Act 3 or something. It's just necessary to make a second trip here. And I don't remember if it's this or in Act 3. I don't know. Like I say, sometimes I'll just double track, backtrack a little bit, just to see. Won't always do it on camera, especially if there's absolutely nothing to find and nothing to see there. But I want to make sure I don't miss out on any quests. Hell, we're already getting shorted one quest, I believe. That one down on, the raiders on the cliffs on the Wounded Coast, because it won't finish for me. Apparently you're supposed to be turning that quest in. You get to talk to the lieutenant when you're done and say, okay, I got rid of the baddies. And then she's like, thanks. She gives you some money, and then or she tells you something, and then you go back to the keep, the Viscount's keep, and you get some money. And it finishes the quest, and I think it leads to another one, and I think I just may be getting screwed on all that. It's the first time I've run into that particular bug. But it is apparently glitched for me, and so I haven't found a way to fix it, and didn't find anything online either, so as long as it's not game breaking, I'm just going to roll with it, but it's kind of a shame. Because first of all, I'd like the few gold sovereigns you get for finishing it in the first place. I want to get paid for my work.
Not doing anything.
And there's a piece I picked up off the guy, that Fell Odin guy. It was called, I think, the Swatch of the Jackyard or something, whatever the hell that is. But it's a key quest item for the next stage of that quest, and I hope it doesn't bug my character having it when the quest itself is bugged. I don't know. My experience in RPGs leads me to believe that when something doesn't go right like that, when things don't trigger, that they're either complete or, trigger to the next stage, then at some point that bug is going to come back and bite you. I'm hoping that's not the case here. I would hate to have a wash and at some point in the game just not be able to continue for any reason, over especially some trivial, seemingly secondary quests, and just be hands up in the air like, well, shit, what do? You're halfway into the game. If that happens, honestly, I'll start a warrior, which is kind of what I wanted to do, and we'll get kind of a taste of both. I'll probably cover this build, show you guys, what I did and all the tactics and that, and go start a warrior and pick up exactly where I left off here. Try to backtrack all the same stuff, do everything I've done up to this point, hopefully get that quest right, and then just carry on from there. with my hawk just playing a different style, and maybe get the best of both worlds if that were to happen. So it wouldn't be a complete loss. It'd be a few hours out of my day, restarting another game and catching up to where I'm at, trying to be thorough, doing everything, but it wouldn't be so bad. Thinking about playing another warrior anyway, just for myself. So, all right, but anyway, so I've got a backup plan in place in case this doesn't work. In case something goes terribly wrong. But anyway, just told you guys I would give you an update on that bug there. Notice if you look on the Lunar Coast, it says that it's still active, but it's once I get there, the quest marker is not in place. There's nothing to turn in. That lady just keeps repeating the same thing, so she's stuck there. Now, perhaps it may fix itself when more quests spawn on the Wounded Coast, which I believe they do later in this act. We'll have some reasons to go back there. If I recall, maybe even more than one. And that might fix it, or flush it, at least wash it out, get her out of that area, and at least rinse that from the game. That would be nice if that happens. And what I'll probably do is just... I've got to go there to get a tome anyway, so I may go back and double check. In fact, we'll go ahead and finish this here. Maybe this will count as a quest type deal. And we can go back and maybe a little update. I'm just hoping for the best. I'm hoping for some way to find a way to either fix that or get that bug out of my hair. So this is pretty nasty right here. Wasn't really a cakewalk the first time we came here. It's a little bit worse now, actually.
You, Varric, have a very large mouth.
And here I've always looked up to you. What is it now?
There were fistfights in the barracks over who was the model for your guard cereal.
Hard in Hightown. Riveting stuff. Everyone loves a dirty gun.
Talking about Varric's book.
Mistress Hawk? Please help me. My brother, Marin. Iwan locked him in with the Darkspawn. He sealed the door. Left me here and bolted for that passage. He's gone mad. All he cares about is that damned sword.
Last time I was here, we picked this place clean. What's your brother looking for?
Iwan called it the Heart Drinker. He says it's the masterwork of an ancient smith from this Tig. He bought a book from one of the Orzammar caravans. It had the location of the sword. Or at least to the golems who guard it.
Another greedy dwarf. You think he took lessons from Bertrand?
Maybe. But greed is hardly exclusive to dwarves.
Maybe I should have seen this coming. Iwan has been obsessed with that thing. He wouldn't tell us about the sword, but I never imagined he'd leave us to rot.
This is getting just a little too familiar, isn't it?
No doubt.
Please, I don't want my brother to be eaten by those monsters.
Get back to the surface. Looks like I have a date with the Darkspawn.
He's on the other side of that wall. You need to find a way to reach him. Please, come tell my father as soon as you have news.
Alright, so we have a choice. I think we can go for the sword and leave the other brother to his own devices and lose him in the process, or vice versa. Go save the other brother and then lose the sword. But, and even though I may be an evil, covetous bastard in some of my games, I'm not going to sacrifice this dwarf for the sword. He hasn't done me any wrong. Now, if he's got it coming anyway, then, I'll let, the powers that be take care of him while I go get my loot and then come back, sure enough. But, yeah, I'm thinking he's not deserving of all that. Alright, so there's one skill in the stealth tree. It's really kind of, I wish I could have like all 5 or 6 of these at once. There's 3 or 4 points I need to sink into several trees here. I've got a couple more to put in Assassin, have a couple to put in Shadow Tree, and what's that other one? Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of just as I go, they're all, I'd say, equally important. I do need to upgrade Assassinate one more time. I'd like to upgrade Mark of Death one more time. Not two. I think there's just 1 or 2 more points to put in the assassin tree. I don't fill that one out. And then Evelyn's the same way. There are so many things that I want for her. She has right here 3 or 4 points that I'd like to put into her personal tree, her specialist tree. A lot of this will be filled out when I get, it seems around level 20 or so. That's just kind of how it always works out. But her main skill there, the immovable one, it just makes her damage resistance go so high. She doesn't become really any offensive factor, but when facing the huge mobs that she can attract, so you can clear out those mobs, you know, basically the harder she's hit, or the more she's hit, the slower she moves and attacks herself, but the more damage she can take. I don't know what the cap on that is, but I think it gets up to like basically an overall 80 to 85% damage resistance from everything type of deal, to where she can take hits from a boss. It doesn't even seem to phase her type thing, but she can't really do much striking back. But that's a huge ability to have active, and she needs to have some kind of stamina pool available so she can do at least things like rally and maybe even set up everybody else for a combo every once in a while. So anyway, it's a few more points away. I'd really kind of like to upgrade that, honestly. And then I'm going to have to start sinking some points in the Bianca tree, which other times I probably would have done already. But I want him to have Chameleon's Breath, too. And Chameleon's Breath really plays into my character and even the party as a whole, because it gives everybody, like, semi-invisibility type things, where they're almost impossible to hit. And with me, it's 2 things. It raises my defense a lot. And then it also, at some point, once I get all my points in place, it basically makes every attack while I'm hidden, like I am right there. You know, you kind of look like you are in stealth, sort of. You got this fog around you. It's that type of thing. All your attacks become criticals, like automatically, as long as you're obscured. Then we're going to throw some other things into points, like, you know, every attack from behind is a critical. Every attack while in stealth is critical. Right, so in stealth critical, while obscure critical, and then flanking attacks are critical, you know. It becomes pretty sexy after that. Okay, now I need somebody else to go ahead and take this heat for a minute. Gotta lose the aggro sometimes. Barrick's over there getting pounded on. You get stuck on these stairs. Barrick can't really get away. Hell, my character gets stuck on those stairs sometimes. So that dog was over here doing his thing. Doing his tank thing. Good old dog. Bob's snarly. Alright, well, no big loot chests in this room this time, but at least we got another spider ambush, and that was worth a decent amount of XP. Between all the traps right there and that ambush, that was what, about 1,500-ish? 1,300, something like that. I don't recall coming back to these ruins in Act 3. I don't think so. Not these ones in particular. There's other times that we go to ruins that are that have a striking dwarven flair to them. Surface dwarven ruins. We see a bit of that in Inquisition. Also, it's a reference back to Origins, is that the Tower of Ashal, where you first start down there in the Kukari Wilds, that was a dwarven construct. I don't know about the tower itself, or necessarily, you know, the whole camp, you know, Ostagar itself above ground, but underneath were dwarven ruins and, you know, passages leading back to the deep roads. He's about to drop the nuke on my followers there. He's about to do it again. He's got that invincibility crap going on. He needs to go. He needs to go. And we got another one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try to avoid a party wipe here. That's just bad luck. They got caught up in the door. And yeah. Okay, I think as long as he's doing that, he can't attack anybody though. Yeah, it's time for him to go. And that's why we have Twin Fangs and Assassinate for bullshit like that. These are just the mobs we have to get through just to save this brother. Imagine what else is waiting for us, right?
By the stone, I thought I was done for. Wait, you're Mistress Hawk. I can't believe it's you. I had no idea the deep roads would be like this, that the Darkspawn would just be everywhere. I've heard the stories, but it's not the same as actually being down here.
Any longer and the Darkspawn would have had you.
I was a fool to think we could do this by ourselves. I knew Iwan was up to something. He got so evasive every time I asked about the Blighted Sword. I still can't believe he betrayed us. Do you think he's alive?
From what I've heard, he's just as nasty as the Darkspawn. Maybe they'll crown him their new king.
He wasn't always like this. You know, I never realized what the dwarves in Orzammar are up against. They fight these monsters every day of their lives. I don't think I can sit by and let my people die while I enjoy the easy life of a merchant. Not anymore. Come find us when you return. I'm sure Father will want to thank you for saving me.
You know, I'm wondering, okay, this is, I mean, obviously smacking of the identical behavior that Bartran had. I guess this is probably a sword made of red lyrium. That's my guess. And I'm wondering if these red lyrium, these corrupted lyrium items, if they're demanding a sacrifice for their removal from the Tig. In other words, you know, if Bartran was basically told by this lyrium idol, speaking to his head, telling him that he had to lock us down here. And I wonder if it's something similar to like the ancient rock wraith, you know, speaking through it, or some entity like that, basically seducing these people to do stuff they maybe otherwise wouldn't do, or stuff that they might consider doing but wouldn't actually do. But you know, there being something rotten there for the, you know, demonic voices, ooh, or whatever, to work with. You know, in other words, if you're totally pure, totally clean, maybe there isn't any place for that voice to take hold. But if you've got that little greediness in the back of your head, maybe that can be exploited, and the demons, or you know, whatever's speaking through the red lyrium, uses that and you know, completely corrupts you or makes you lose your mind. I mean, what Bartran did was, you know, just sorry as all get out. Obviously, we were the victims of that, and identical behavior right here. I guess this is the Varric side of that family, the guy we just saved. And so I'm assuming the Bartran side of that family has gone off to keep the sword alls to his lonesome, and obviously meeting his own demise down here too. He doesn't have an entire expedition crew to pull him out.
Poor bugger.
Okay, and there, I think that was him right there.
Use the control rod. Maybe the golems
I believe.
further in.
That was the dead brother there, maybe. But anyway, having gone to save. Shut up, Anders. Oh my God. But to save the brother, I guess you take too long, and so the sword that we would be after is now lost to us, destroyed or whatever by the Darkspawn, whatever. Anyway, so the brother didn't make it so far as to use this control rod, so we do this, and I guess this becomes our buddy, at least for a time being. It'd be kind of cool to take him up above and follow us around, have another shale. That would be cool. It's fun. You can sit there and watch the golems duke it out. I wonder if our little golem follower can die. It's a interesting thought. No more Mr. Explodey. Enough of all that. Okay, so we passed these golems the first time we were down here, and I remember there being something involving them. Apparently this is it. It's the going through this thing for that dwarven merchant guy. Now it's interesting, if dwarves are, say, immune to magic and things like, I don't know, possession and stuff like whatever, if the red lyrium is strong enough or a different entity altogether that it can corrupt or spiritually corrupt a dwarf, gives it kind of an interesting quality there. And apparently Mr. Boss Golem just came and joined in the fight too. This is interesting. I don't know exactly what range they have there on that AoE crap they're doing. Going all aggro on each other, but I don't really want to find out. He's not going to be denied, is he? It's cool you can break him out of his little thing there, though. At least momentarily. Alright, that's another 800-something XP. There you go. And... Does that hurt, Anders? Ah! Ah! What the hell? See what's Anders tripping on? Is that just a little glitch, or is that a result of having used the control rod and he's feeling it for some reason or something? Huh. No little detail is too small when you're lore hunting in Dragon Age. No little detail. I kind of forget what we have going on. Oh, we got another one of these guys. Okay, well, he's after me apparently. So we'll go ahead and give him a surprise while he's letting that off, and we'll say holler at you, buddy. Some heat off me for a second. Yeah, we got an ogre. And he hit me in the face with a rock. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. It's always nice to get smacked in the face by an ogre every once in a while. And, you know, remind you that you woke up in the morning. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Doesn't seem like Anders is spamming the heals like he should be. I just kind of gave a little look-see at his mana. And it was there. I mean, it looks like he doesn't have much. He actually has a decent amount to work with right there. He's got a good mana regen right now, too. Some of that's built into his equipment and so on and so forth. But, yeah, he wasn't hurting for mana. A lot of that's in reserve for, you know, the things that he's doing. He does provide some proximity healing bonus to those around him. He does do that. And I believe there's gear that can even boost that a little bit. I don't remember if we get a dragon ambush right here. It sure looks like an ideal place to get ambushed by a dragon, though, doesn't it? I guess not. Alright, well, that's good.
Oh, we're too late. The darkspawn smashed the chest.
Done. Maybe there's something to salvage.
Okay. You know, I'll take that over any stupid sword anyway. A sword that I'm probably not going to use regardless. So, yeah. Okay. Good deal. Sometimes you get paid for doing the right thing. Alright, very good. Go give the guy the bad news, but if the brother was already lost behind that sword, then whether he died down here or not wasn't really going to make any difference. Apparently once that red lyrium takes hold, you're kind of unredeemable. I don't know, maybe there's some magical cure for it or whatever, but seems like it just brings out the worst of you and lets that go ahead and take place, and just become a slobbering, blithering fool after that point. So that's, yeah. Actually probably did that dwarf a favor.
Boiling in oil.
Too prosaic. Trapped in a cave with hungry bears right at the spring thaw.
That lets him off too easy. Dipped in molten gold and left as a statue in the Viscount's keep.
Ooh, that's
I think
poetic.
What are you two
pretty
talking
soon
about?
here start really
What to do to
focusing
Barker when I
on
find him.
Any suggestions?
stamina boosting gear for Aveline.
I had hoped.
Father, I told you it would be too late.
He tried to kill Merrin and Emrys, and you're sad he didn't make it?
His betrayal isn't lost on me, Tira. But he'll always be my son. You've given me back 2 of my boys, Messer. I'm in your debt. Please, take this as thanks.
Well, sorry, man. Corruption does bad things to good people. Certainly does. I don't think there's anything else that they send us to do.
I don't think I'll ever be able to repay you.
Iron is gone.
Let's get Aveline some extra stamina. So if I'm going to be asking her to do anything else, because she's already holding a lot of sustainabilities. She's basically at the point where Meryl is, where all of her mana is reserved for just that. She won't be able to do any basic actions. I don't ask her to do a lot. Rally and perhaps an ability that can stagger, or something like that. Maybe set up
How did you... No, I don't want to know.
set up or execute combos. I don't ask her to do a whole lot of that. She just really needs to be tanky and hit things, But give her some stamina to work with so she can at least do that. Rally, Rally's pretty important. She has synergy, battle synergy, and rally kind of going at the same time. And it's good for the whole party. It's good for everybody. Yeah, so many points to spend and so few to work with right now. All right, you know what? I think I'm just going to go home. I want to go look at my quest log while I'm right here and see if anything new has come in. I think we're going to have to go do a main story quest here at some point to spring some new quests. Some other stuff to do, but I think we've cleared out pretty much everything there is to do here. It's possible the bug, the error, come to think of it, on the Wounded Coast. Go give my dog some lubs.
You take good care of us, don't you? Want some pets? I bet you do.
It's possible that bug could have been a result of either not having gone to the coast just a little bit earlier, or before any other quests pop up there. Because it's usually a trip that I make like first thing, starting Act 2, and it just didn't this time. I just figured I didn't know that it was necessarily that important, but maybe once other quests pop up on the coast, it bugs that one or something. Dunno. But be that as it may. Anyway, alright, so we'll go off and do other things here shortly. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. And if you want the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, click that icon there in the middle, and I will catch you guys later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.